Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. The topic for today, 10 ways to have a great conversation. Let me ask you, have you ever wished that you could be more confident when you're talking to a stranger? Have you ever wished that you had the ability to talk to new people, to strangers, because you just feel something stops you from doing it, okay? I mean, do you find it hard to even start a conversation with a stranger or even with somebody else? That's quite possible for many people, right? And would you like to be more comfortable in having conversations? Because if that's your situation, then I've got some things to help you. If you're running a business, but you have a problem with conversations, then that's really a heck of a problem you've got there, right? And I think today I might be able to help you out with that. The problem is we're losing the skill of conversation. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a darn smartphone. I mean, for example, I know my kids would much rather text people than talk to them, even their best friends. And I noticed the other day, I did some research, Pew Research in the United States said that more than 30% of American teenagers average more than 100 texts a day. 100 texts a day. And when asked would they prefer to text or talk to their friends, nearly 95% said text, even though they were close friends. Crazy, huh? Unbelievable. And by the way, this is happening with adults as well. Many people, and maybe you're one, would prefer to text somebody than talk to them. And I know I've had discussions in messaging on Facebook and on LinkedIn, for example, and I've asked whether you'd like to talk rather than type because I'm a terrible typist, etc. And some people have really hesitated because they don't feel confident and they don't feel comfortable to actually talk. They'd much rather type. But if you are much rather typing than talking, then you're missing some golden opportunities. That's what I'm saying. Now, I tell you, we've all been taught how important it is in terms of conversation to listen and to talk. And we've been told, have good eye contact, okay? You've heard that before. And have some topics of interest, common interest to the person you're speaking to. Do the research and make sure that you've got a topic that will be of interest to them, right? And then when they're talking to you and answering your questions, make sure you repeat back to them what your understanding is of what they first told you to show that you're not just listening, but you're understanding, right? But let me challenge you, and I teach people that as well in my sales coaching. But let me tell you this, there's no reason to learn how to show that you're paying attention if you're already paying attention in the first place, right? So why would you need to learn how? The question is, how do you do that? It's really bloody difficult to pay attention and keep focused in a conversation. I'm going to give you 10 tips about that now. My name is Peter Beckenham, the Village Marketer, and as always, talking to you from my little Thai village, way up near the Cambodian border, and the most common thing I can talk with here is buffalo, so I never get any answers. I never get any arguments either. All right, let me get on with the topic, all right? 10 ways, 10 tips about getting a better conversation. Now, let me tell you this to you. If you can just master one of these tips, just one of them, then you'll go a hell of a lot further than you've gone in your conversations up until now, okay? The first one, intention, okay? A conversation without a game plan is like driving without a roadmap. Now, I don't mean that that a conversation you have to is to win, except you need to be able to win some things. And without a game plan, you're actually going blind and you're going without confidence and direction. In other words, you in a conversation with somebody, you may want to win a new idea for them. You may want to win a customer, right? You may want to win new friends, whatever it may be. But if you don't have a game plan before you start, okay, you're going in with just blank head, then that's crazy. And this is especially important if you're going to something like a networking event. Before you go into the darn thing, sit in your car, have a big breath, for God's sake, okay? Have a big breath and think, have a quick goal. How many people do you want to connect with? Let's say you had 3. So you go in there with the express purpose of trying to meet with 3 new people. And that's the focus, all right? And that's the focus of your conversations. And the topic on networking I'll do later in the week for you to go in more detail. Secondly, the approach. Let me tell you this. You've got 7 seconds to make that first impression. In other words, people are judging you before you even open your mouth. All right? So be aware of that. When it comes to conversations to have a tip for it, make sure you're sending all the right signals before you open your mouth. Make sure you are giving eye contact. Make sure you face it, not talking to them like this over your shoulder. Front face them so they can see you. Make sure your hands are visible, not behind your back or something, or not folded like that. This is important. 7 seconds is all you got, right? So make sure your body language is sending the signals that you want. Thirdly, be present and no multitasking. Now, this is the toughest one of all. And I've got another 7. Hang in there with me. Because, by the way, at the end, I've got something really very special to help you with this, okay? Be present and no multitasking. Thanks for the likes and loves. This is tough. In other words, you've got to give the person you're speaking to, your sales prospect, for example, or your existing customer, or even a friend or a new friend, whatever it may be, you've got to give them your total focus. And that is really damn hard if you just had an argument with your boss, if you just lost the biggest sale of the year, if you're worried about financial issues. These thoughts are going to be in your mind. And if they're in your mind, you're not focusing on the other person, right? When I say to you to be present and no multitasking, it means no other thinking. Please push yourself to do this, because if you can really focus on the other person, you will find opportunities you never thought possible, and they would never occur to you unless you are totally focused. And if you are totally focused on them, if thoughts come into your mind, and they will, because they're all human, right? If thoughts come into your mind, let them go. Let them go and keep focused on that person. Total focus on them, all right? Tough call, but try it. Next one, enter every conversation with a thought that there's something you can learn, right? Every conversation you have with someone, think about there's something you can learn, because everyone you meet knows something that you don't know, right? Everyone you meet knows something you don't know. Put it another way, everyone you meet is an expert in something, but you won't know what that is. You won't know what their expertise is. You won't know what they know and what you don't know unless you keep focused on them, unless they are the center of your attention, unless they can not only see it, but feel it. Feel the attention you're giving them, okay? Not by staring them out like this, either, sorry, but by simply paying total focus to them, okay? Next one, don't be scared of silence. This is number 5, yeah? Don't be scared of silence. Give people the chance to think about an answer for you. Don't fill in the gaps, okay? If you ask a question, keep your mouth shut, okay? Don't put words in their head. Don't put words in their mouth. You want to hear what they have to say, not what they think about what you're saying, all right? Very important. Next one, use open-ended questions, which leads on to the last one. Rather than saying, if someone said to you, we had a snake come in the yard. I'm a snake story, right? We had a snake come in the yard, and I'd say to them, you could say, were you scared? Okay, that's not an open-ended question. That's a closed question. They're either going to say yes or no, right? Instead, what I should have said to them is, how did that make you feel? How did that make you feel? Keep asking questions that make them stop and think about how they felt about the thing. That's how you get a great engagement in a conversation going. All right, does that make sense? Next one, avoid making judgments. Now, whether the person's speaking really darn slow or really fast or excited or whatever it is, stop yourself from making judgments. Or if they make a comment to you that you think, this guy's crazy, or this whatever it is, boo, stop your thinking that way. By all means, you can make a judgment, but not just straight away. Avoid making a judgment too soon, because some people have difficulty in talking and expressing themselves. And sometimes what they say comes out all wrong, and they know it's wrong, but they're nervous, and you may have put them on edge a bit. And if you're starting to make judgment calls to them, it'll come out in the tone of your expression, in the questions you ask, in the look on your face, in the look in your eyes. So stop making judgments. If you start making judgments to people, I can tell you right now, they're going to stop confiding in you. All right? Again, tough call. Tough call, but I'm trying to give you some home truths here. Next one. If you don't know, say you don't know. Never bullshit, all right? If you don't know, say you don't know. No need to say anymore, and that's pretty darn obvious, right? In other words, be honest, have integrity, and be transparent. Next one. Don't ever try to match their experiences. If you've asked a question and someone's sharing back to you some really difficult, challenging experience they had, the worst thing you can do is say, oh yeah, that reminds me, I remember 10 years ago, and you start prattling on with your story to match their experience. Okay? The conversation's not about you, it's all about them. Once you start doing that, and by the way, I've been guilty of doing that. Okay? I have to stop myself from doing that. Okay? Because initially I thought this is the way to build rapport, but no, it's not. Listen to their story. Feel what they're all about and dig deeper to find out more and more about it. But don't relate back your stories. Don't you try and be the hero. Don't you try and outmaneuver them in whatever your experiences are, right? That puts a stop on all conversations, all right? Very important. And number 10, the last one, listen actively. I mean, Buddha, I'm going to misquote him here, but Buddha said, if your mouth is open, then you're not learning. If your mouth is open, you're not learning, okay? And put it another way, many people have talked their way out of a sale, right? They have, both in terms of not listening and continuing on prattling on, or they simply get the sale, but they never shut up, okay? But I've never heard of any business guy, any business lady, any entrepreneur, any marketer ever listen their way out of a sale. Never, ever done that, right? So listen more than talk. It's a key thing. The problem is, what I've shared with you, these 10 tips, may sound easy to talk about, but my God, they're difficult to do. And one of the reasons is because we get distracted so darn easily. Think about this. We can talk at a rate of around about 225 words a minute, right? About 220. Now, some can speak faster than that, okay? But let's say on average 225 words a minute. But we can listen on average at a rate of about 500 words a minute. So there's a gap between 225 and 500 of 275 words in a minute. And what happens is our mind starts filling in the words. In other words, we lose concentration. We get distracted. And when you get distracted, you stop paying attention. And when you stop paying attention, you are losing out on an opportunity because a person can see that and feel it and sense it, all right? Plus, you don't see all the opportunities that are available because it's reading between the lines and all those things that you're never going to get to do if you're distracted and losing focus and attention. Remember, Stephen Covey said, listen with the intent to understand, not with the intent to reply. Listen with the intent to understand, not with the intent to reply. Final thought for you, be brief, okay? Don't prattle on and on and on and on. Be brief. I mean, a great conversation is a bit like a mini skirt, all right? It's short enough to get your attention, but it's long enough to cover the essentials. That's basically what I think about it, all right? So there you are. Be interested and not interesting. Keep your mouth shut and your mind open. Now, thank you for joining me. Here's my call to action for the day. If you're interested in this is a free video. Send me a personal message if you find it of value or of any interest. It's called Essential Questions Secrets. It takes you through all the questions you can ask in order to get an engagement going with your potential prospect or your customer, whoever it may be. All right? I hope you found that helpful. Thank you very much for sharing your time with me. And until next time, best wishes from Thailand. Take care. Bye for now.